Okay, this is exercise 3C. This is going to be one of the most important lessons or exercises you're going to be doing this year because you're going to be learning how to do the fillet and chamfer. You're going to be expected to know how to do this during a quiz. So this is a very important lesson, so make sure you really pay attention on how we do these commands. Okay, so let's go ahead and go back to our previous drawing that we did, and we're just going to go ahead and erase what we did. I'm going to turn on the grids. And the grid settings we need to have on 3C need to be 1. Okay, so our grids are at 1. Again, we're not going to have anything on grid behavior. For our snaps, we're going to make sure they're at 0.25. Okay, so our snaps are at 0.25, our grids are at 1, and then we have nothing for our grid behaviors. So go ahead and click on OK. Again, make sure down here you have nothing, no polar on, no O snap. We're not going to be using ortho. O-tracks off. Go ahead and have the DYN, which is the dynamic input. That's going to be useful for us. And then double check the line weight, LWT. Just make sure your inches and your the scroll bar is the second one from the left side. So that's good. Okay, now I think we're ready to go. So let's go ahead and do the first one. We're going to go ahead and click on the rectangle button. I'm just going to go ahead and go on to a dot. Doesn't matter which one. Go ahead and click on a dot. And I'm going to go ahead. It looks like I didn't get on the dot. Okay. Go on a dot. And then I'm going to go ahead and from the dot, I'm going to count 3 over. 1, 2, 3. Then I'm going to come down to 1, 2. Hit enter. I'm going to click on it once. Put my mouse over the grip, and then you can kind of see that it says it's a 3x2 rectangle, and that's what we need to have for each one of these rectangles that we draw. This 3x2 wouldn't show up if I didn't have this DYN button. So notice when I turn this off and I go back up here, nothing pops up. It doesn't give me the lengths. So that's why it's important to have this dynamic input, which is the DYN, because it helps us tell us the size of our rectangles, 3x2. And that's correct. Okay. Now let's go ahead, and in the book it says we're going to have to do a 3x2, which is we did. We're going to have to do a chamfer now. Okay, the chamfer distance is 0.5. So let's go ahead and do that one right now. So to do a chamfer, you go modify, chamfer, or you come over to the button, chamfer button, or you can even go in here and then type in CHA, C-H-A, CHA. Next step is it asks you, do you want to undo, polyline, distance, angle, trim, method, or multiple? It gives you a lot of these choices. We want to go de-enter for distance. So you go de-enter. It's asking me now for the first chamfer distance. Okay, that is 0.5. So I put in 0.5, enter. Now it's asking me again for the second chamfer distance. Well, in the book it only gave me 1.5. So if they only give you one number, you're just going to use it twice. So I'm going to go 0.5 again. Now look at the mouse. It has a little square. That means we're ready to pick on the lines. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and I'm going to click on this line and then this line. And there's the chamfer. Right click my mouse, repeat chamfer, click on the line, click on the line. Be careful when you click on the lines, you don't click on the corners, that can mess you up. So just make sure you click on the line and click on the line, click on the line, and click on the line. Z enter, A enter. If I can get my mouse working here, Z enter, A enter, there we go. Okay, let's go ahead and draw another 3x2. And looks like that. Verify it. Yep, 3x2. Okay, this one here, we're going to be doing a fillet, and the radius is 0.75. Okay, and it's going to look like that when we're done. Okay, so to do a fillet, you go modify fillet. That's the one right underneath chamfer. So if you find it over here on the modify toolbar, it's over here. It's the fillet button, has the curve on it. Or you can even just come down here and type in F, enter for fillet. Now it gives you all these little options to choose from. We want to choose the option of radius. So that means we're going to go R, enter. And now it's asking me, what kind of fillet radius do I want to use? Well, in the book it says I need to use 0.75. Put enter. Now look at your mouse. It's ready to pick. So I click on the lines right there, clicking on the lines, and clicking on the lines. Okay, Z enter, A enter. If I can get my mouse working again, it can seem like it freezes up a little bit. Z enter, A enter. There we go. Next one is, looks like they have a 3x2 rectangle, then we use the rotation angle on this, or we rotated it 45 degrees. Okay, so we're not doing a chamfer, we're not doing a fillet. So let's go ahead and do this one right here. I'm going to go ahead and draw another 3x2 rectangle. This time I'm going to draw it over here. Give me some space. I'm going to double check, make sure it's a 3x2. 3x2 it is. So go ahead and click on the rotate button. It's also up here, modify rotate. Select the rectangle, hit enter, and just come over here and click on one of these corners at the bottom. And notice that it's ready to rotate. So we want to make sure it rotates 45. So I'm typing in 45, enter, and it rotates it for me to 45 degrees. Z enter, A enter, there we go. And then finally we got to do the width one here. So this here. So this one, excuse me, this one here, it's going to require us to change the width before we draw it. Okay, so let's take a look at this one. So rectangle button. Now it gives me all these options down here, and we want to change the width. So I'm going to type in W, enter. Now down here again, it's asking me, what do you want the width to be for the rectangle? Well, in the book it says it needs to be 0.2. Enter. Now I'm going to come to a line, and I'm going to draw that rectangle. See, notice it's thicker. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, come down 1, 2, and I'm saying on the dots. I'm going to verify that by clicking on it, and there it is, 3x2. Okay, so what I need to do now is I need to move these around just a little bit so I can have some room to put my text in. So I'm just going to move this up just a little bit to the side here. I'm going to move this one over here as well. You can move yours anywhere you want. I'm just going to need to get some room to put the text in here. Move this one over here. And I'll move this one actually down a little bit over here. I'll do that. And I'll move this one down a little bit too. Okay, now let's go ahead and start putting some text in here. So for the text in the book, looks like we have dimensions, length is 3, width is 2, chamfer is 0.5. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'll click on the A button. I'm going to make a big box. And I'm going to go ahead and type in what the book tells me to do. Dimensions, colon, length is 3, width is 2. Dimension. Does it say dimension or dimension? I think it says dimensions. And then we go length equals 3, and then we had the width equals 2. I'm going to drag this out so I get a little bit more room here. Okay, hit enter once. I think there's something below it we have to do. And it says chamfer equals 0.50. So it says chamfer equals 0.50. I'm going to go ahead and get another space in here to give some room between that. I'm going to go ahead and click on OK. I'm going to go ahead and move this so I can keep it on my grids. I'm going to just stick it underneath it here. And then I'm just going to go ahead and select it, and then I'm going to turn it to text heavy. Okay, Z enter, A enter. Okay, I have that one. Let's take a look for the text for this one now. Looks like it's the same thing, and I just changed the second line. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and just copy this one. Bring it down here, and I'm just going to change this words right here. Double click it. Just change this one. I want to change this one to fillet equals 0.75. Click OK. Z enter, A enter. I gotta get two more texts over here. So the rotation one looks like I have to got the same length as the other ones, and I'm going to have to add these texts in for that one. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this one over here, and I'm going to go ahead and double click it, and I have to change this one. I think it has to say rotation. What does it say exactly? It says rotation equals 45. Equals 45. And below it, it says chamfer 0, fillet of 0. Chamfer equals 0, fillet equal 0. Click OK. C enter, A enter. Good. And then I'm going to go ahead and copy this one more time here, right below it. And let's see what kind of changes I got to do for this one. Have the very same thing, except for I'm going to have rotation 0 and width 0. So it's another line that's going to be added in there. Width is 0.200. So I'll double click that. So I got to put the width equals 0.200. Change this rotation to 0. Click OK. Z enter, A enter. Turn off my grids, and that's good enough.